Please tell me you had Ben Affleck selling an AI startup to Netflix on your bingo card?
Oh, come on. Interpositive is barely a tech company. It's just three scripts wearing a trench coat made of buzzwords.
Still a better story than Apollo dropping 3.7 billion on a Japanese glass manufacturer.
Are you kidding? Nippon Sheet Glass is a massive value play. The restructuring potential alone is incredible.
Spoken like a true spreadsheet junkie. Show me the math on Tokyo then. The rundown. So everyone's calling this a K-shaped recovery for M&A. Overall deal volumes are flat, but the well-capitalized strategics are just throwing around cash like it's 2021.
Case in point, Cintas buying UniFirst, $5.5 billion for uniform rentals. I read the release and actually gasped. That's a massive premium for a company that washes work shirts.
Hey, don't disrespect the recurring revenue of industrial laundry. It's incredibly sticky. Once you have the contract for a fleet of mechanics, you never lose it.
I'm not disrespecting the revenue, Nate. I'm looking at the market share. We're absolutely going to see antitrust watchdogs barking about this by tomorrow morning when the early filings hit. You can't just consolidate the entire high-vis vest market and expect the FTC to sleep through it.
Fair point. Speaking of throwing cash around, Gilead is reportedly a day away from closing a $2 billion buyout of Ouro Medicines.
$2 billion for autoimmune T-cell therapies. And Ouro barely has clinical data. This is exactly what I mean by K-shaped. The desperation for pipeline is making these buyers immune to valuation logic.
I completely disagree. It's not desperation, it's a defensive moat. If Gilead doesn't buy Ouro, someone else will. And then Gilead is locked out of the next generation of autoimmune. $2 billion is a rounding error if the therapy hits.
If it hits, that's a $2 billion lottery ticket.
Well, here's a guaranteed return. Olympus Partners is offloading the retina business of EyeSouth Partners to Cencora for $1.1 billion.
A cool billion for retinas. Solid exit for Olympus.
But that isn't even the wildest deal crossing my desk. You know I love the weird Hollywood crossovers. Netflix just quietly scooped up Interpositive.
The AI tools startup. I saw that. Why is that wild?
Because it was founded by Ben Affleck.
Wait, really? Ben Affleck is an AI tech founder now.
Yes, the AI gold rush has officially hit the red carpet. Netflix is acquiring Batman's algorithm.
Oh, come on. That's just corporate theater. They bought a headline. I bet the tech is basically a ChatGPT wrapper for script formatting.
You're so cynical.
I read the footnotes, Nate. It keeps me grounded.
Speaking of reading the fine print, we need to talk about what Apollo is doing over in Tokyo. $3.7 billion to take Nippon Sheet Glass private. The big one. $3.7 billion for a company that makes literal windows. I love it.
It's not just windows, Nate. It's Nippon Sheet Glass. They do automotive glass, architectural glass, ultra-thin glass for displays. But yes, fundamentally, Apollo is dropping nearly $4 billion on sand and heat.
It's their biggest private equity play in Japan ever. And honestly, it's a masterclass in reading the macro room.
Is it? Because when I look at this, I see a legacy commodity business with massive energy costs. I pulled the footnotes on their European operations this morning. They are getting absolutely crushed by power prices.
You're missing the forest for the trees? Or the building for the windows?
Oh, come on.
I had to. Look, Japan is the hottest market on earth right now for take privates. The corporate governance reforms over there are finally forcing these massive bloated conglomerates to actually care about shareholder value. Apollo is just walking through an open door.
I agree the Japan thesis is real. But $3.7 billion? Nippon Sheet Glass has been public for decades. The margins are incredibly thin. Where is the actual value unlock here?
In the operations, this is classic private equity textbook stuff. You take it private, you strip out the public company reporting costs, you optimize the supply chain away from the quarterly earnings pressure, plus you get world-class engineering and a management team that's finally willing to listen to Western sponsors.
You sound exactly like a managing director trying to justify a crazy multiple right now.
I am recovering, okay? Call me out when I sound like a pitch deck. But seriously, who else is buying heavy manufacturing right now? We have this weird K-shaped M&A market where everyone is chasing software mega deals, and Apollo's out here quietly buying real, tangible assets.
Actually, speaking of weird software deals, Netflix just quietly scooped up an AI startup founded by Ben Affleck.
Wait, really? Batman has an AI startup?
Interpositive, yes, the AI gold rush is officially hitting the red carpet, but let's stay focused on the glass.
Right, the glass. I think Apollo shatters expectations here.
That was worse than the window joke.
I stand by my puns, and I stand by this deal.
I'll give you 1 point on the strategy. The weak yen is the real story here. Apollo is essentially getting a massive currency discount. If you price this deal in dollars from 3 years ago, the math completely falls apart.
That's just smart timing. You buy the dip on the currency, you buy the asset, you hold for 5 years.
I guess we'll see if the operational magic is real, or if they just bought a very expensive, very fragile asset.
Fragile, nice. You made a glass pun too.
Totally accidental. But if you want to talk about expensive and fragile, we need to look at what's happening in the uniform rental space, because Cintas just dropped $5.5 billion to completely shake up the entire market. Voices.
I am so tired of the letter K, Maya. Every analyst note this week is calling this a K-shaped recovery in M&A.
Because they love a good shape analogy. But look at the footnotes, the data actually backs them up this time. Overall deal volumes are completely flat, but the total dollar value is spiking because of these massive strategic mega deals.
Exactly. The upward arm of the K is just Apollo writing a $3.7 billion check for a Japanese glassmaker.
Nippon Sheet Glass. It is a classic take-private play. And you have Cintas dropping $5.5 billion on UniFirst. The well-capitalized buyers are absolutely keeping the market hot right now.
Right. But then the industry watchers ruin their credibility in the very next sentence. They are claiming AI is no longer a buzzword, but the core driver reshaping deal strategy across literally all sectors.
Oh, come on. That is just bankers trying to justify ridiculous multiples.
You do not think AI is actually driving the current strategic deal flow?
I think slapping the letters A and I on a pitch deck is driving deal flow. It is a narrative, Nate, not a fundamental thesis. Are you really telling me Cintas bought a uniform rental company for $5.5 billion because of artificial intelligence?
Maybe the uniforms wash themselves now. But seriously, the tech crossover is real. Even Netflix is buying into it. Word on the street is they just quietly scooped up an AI tools startup called Interpositive.
Never heard of them. Who is the founder?
Ben Affleck.
Wait, really? The actor?
The very same. The AI gold rush has officially hit the red carpet.
I am going to need to see the cap table on that immediately. Please tell me Matt Damon was an angel investor.
I will make some calls. But speaking of weird pop culture crossover plays, wait until you hear what Blackstone is supposedly doing in the sports world. Spill the tea. I'm telling you, the AI gold rush has officially hit the red carpet. Netflix quietly buying Interpositive is the crossover episode nobody asked for.
I actually had to read the filing 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Ben Affleck, Batman, founded an AI tools startup, and Netflix bought it.
See, I love this. It's peak Hollywood hedging. The studios are terrified of AI, so why not own the shovel? Netflix is just buying the hardware before the writers strike again.
Oh, come on. You don't actually think Netflix needs Ben Affleck's proprietary algorithm, do you? This is a glorified acqui-hire. They probably wanted 2 engineers who happened to work there, and they got a celebrity headline out of it.
Spoken like a true cynic. I bet the pitch deck was incredible. I can just see him in the boardroom doing the Goodwill Hunting math on the whiteboard.
I'm sure the deck was beautiful, but I want to see the earnout structure. If they paid more than $20 million for this, I will eat my microphone.
Deal. Speaking of weird alternative pivots, how about Blackstone padding up for cricket?
Wait, really?
The whispers on the street are loud right now. They're actively evaluating a massive stake in a global cricket league.
That's actually smart. Everyone is overpaying for European soccer and NFL minority stakes right now. Cricket has 1 billion fans, and the broadcast multiples are still somewhat grounded in reality.
Look who's talking like a banker now. You just want to see Steve Schwartzman in cricket pads.
I would pay premium cable prices for that. but we should probably pivot to some deals that actually have ink on the paper.
Good point. Keep your eyes on Gilead Sciences tomorrow. They're expected to finalize that $2 billion buyout of Ouro Medicines.
T-cell therapies are hot right now. We're also on watch for the Cintas and UniFirst regulatory filings. $5.5 billion in the uniform space might actually make the antitrust watchdogs start barking. Tomorrow's radar.
Netflix quietly bought Interpositive, which normally I ignore, except it is an AI startup founded by Ben Affleck.
Wait, really? Batman has an AI startup?
Now Netflix has it. The AI gold rush is officially wearing a tuxedo.
I need to see the footnotes on that. I bet the earnout is tied to box office numbers. But looking at actual market movers tomorrow, watch the Cintas and UniFirst filings. $5.5 billion for a uniform rental merger.
I love that deal. It sails right through. The market is way too fragmented for regulators to care.
Oh, come on. You know the FTC is going to bark. Uniforms are hyperlocal. In some zip codes, those two are the only game in town.
We will see. I am watching Gilead Sciences tomorrow. They should finalize the paperwork on their $2 billion buyout of Ouro Medicines.
T-cell therapies are the new software. Everyone wants a subscription to your immune system.
Spoken like a true tech cynic. We will be tracking all these filings tomorrow. See you on Deal Street.